Alright, so welcome to the part 3 of the Maji Ndogo project with the title Weaving the Data Threads of Maji Ndogo's Narrative. So quickly, let's dive into it. Let's see what all this is about. So in the part 2, we realize some discrepancies in the data or the survey data. So there has to be some auditor to look through and then check if really that is the case, or it is just some common mistakes. Now here is the auditor's report that we have over here. So please, you click on this to download a zip folder and then extract the content into an ordinary folder where we are going to use it later. Now you run down here. We have received the report, so we have to quickly act on it. So if you read this whole area, it's just telling you to go into your ERD to look at the diagram of the relationship between the various tables within the database, or the objects as it is called within the database. So we'll do just that. Now if you come down here, we are looking at the relationship between the visit and water quality tables for every entry. Now we're saying that if you get into the visit table and then you compare it to the figures you have or the values you have in the water quality table, and it is such that for every visit there is a unique score or record in the water quality table, then it means that it is 1-to-1 relationship. So we will check that, and then if we find otherwise, we have to correct that. Now we are told that if you look at the ERD table, you have the relationship between them to be many to one, but in actual fact it is supposed to be a 1-to-1 situation. So we have to go to the ERD and change the relationship between the visit table and the water quality table. But before we do that, we have to really convince ourselves that the relationship between these two tables are actually 1-to-1 and not many to one before we can effect that particular change. So let's get to the workbench and see what we have there. So first off, we need to find out whether this whole thing, these two tables, have a 1-to-1 or 1-to-many relationship. So I will run this query here. I have the record ID with the record ID from visit table, and then record ID from the water quality table. You can see here from as V, from visit as V, then I'm joining it with water quality as W. On the visit record ID column is equal to what? Water quality record ID column. Now you understand that if you want to join two tables, they must have some column in common so that you can leverage on that to join. If they don't, then they don't really have any relationship whatsoever, but they can connect through other tables. So here we have this record ID on both sides. We'll go and look at what the relationship is. So we run this query, and then you can see here it is returning over 10,000 rows for each. If you run through it, you will not see any different numbers. They are the same all through. Okay, so we have that done. Now let's do some further check. So this query I run, I have a comment here which I'm saying that if this returns the same number of rows as either table, as assuming both have the same number of unique IDs, then the relationship is 1-to-1. So we have already seen that there is a relationship, a 1-to-1 relationship here. Now let's do some further checks. So again, I said that this script checks whether record ID in visit and water quality are unique and perfectly match 1-to-1. That we have established. Now step 2, that's an optional one, to find out whether there is a 1-to-1 relationship between the two. So you can use this query, a little bit complex but very simple. So we are using the case statement. So we say we are counting all. If it is equal to 0, then we are saying that all the record ID values in the water quality are unique. But if it is not up to 0 or equal to 0, then we can say some duplicate record ID values found in water quality table. Now that is the results that we are expecting if the situation is true, and then if it is false. Now let me run this and then let's see how it goes. And then we are doing it on the condition that the count or the total shouldn't be greater than what? 1, or it should be greater than what? 1. If that situation is true, then you have one of these showing. So I'll run it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so running it with the water quality table, it tells us that all record ID values in water quality are unique. In the same manner, you can change everywhere you have water quality to visit. Like this place, you can change here. You can change here again. You can come to the water quality here, change this as well, and then change that. If you run it, or when you run it, you should have the answer also for the visit table, and then you have confirmed that it is a 1-to-1 situation. Now you are ready to go and look at your ERD table. I want to take you through how I got the table. So let me quickly do that. Okay, I'm trying to get rid of this. So yeah. Okay, so to reach your ERD table, you go to the database here, and then you come to reverse engineering. So if you are using the connection that you are using, the name should be here. In the connection where I'm working with, working in the Maji Ndogo project, I have it here. So I'll just proceed without wasting my time. Click next. Now here you have to select the particular database you are working or you want to work with. So I want the MD Water Services. I choose it. Okay, so I go next and then next. Now before this space, you have to watch the previous space we were. You have to check. There's a little this thing over here. You have to check it. I forgot to go through that. So let's go. Alright, so this is the table. In the next video, we'll go through here and then we'll continue with the rest of our work. Thank you.